looking forward to see if the two teams play at their best. Anyone freezes on the night, as it were. I suspect not. I mean, there's so many players out there who've got so much experience. We had a little chat before the game there. I'm looking at the Inter wing-backs as possibly the two most important players on the field today, Dumfries and Di Marco. Expect them to have a massive impact in this game.
Derby di Milano, the fourth meeting of this season, but this is a different derby day as we're underway. It's the first leg of a Champions League semi-final. It's a first European encounter between these two sides with great tradition in 18 years, as Inter are playing from left to right, as the challenges fly in the early stages, as Dumfries is caught there by Theo Hernandez, still sporting his dyed pink hair, although it's not as bright as it was just a few weeks ago. It's a little faded now, as Dumfries was caught.
And he got caught. There was definitely a free kick there, leaving one on him early. It's very modern, not. But after that, Theo Hernandez, he didn't actually try to get out of the way when he was falling back over. You can't prove that was deliberate, but he's left plenty of Dumfries there. We'll see how Dumfries, they're having a little chat already. Dumfries is saying, you had a kick out again after the first kick. So no love lost there right at the start.
In the middle tier away towards our left-hand side, I would estimate there's around 7,000 Inter fans. It's their blue and white and black flags that are flying. They're certainly making a lot of noise. The whistles to try and counteract that by the Milan supporters as Inter play the ball back, and Darmian, who made his debut for Milan at the age of 16 along with Çalhanoğlu against their former side, up to Dzeko. Theo Hernandez with the interception, gets the ball back then from Salamanca's. Dumfries dived into the challenge. The referee, by the way, is from Spain, Jesus Gil Manzano. As the ball goes all the way back to Mike Maignan in a luminous orange goalkeeping outfit.
It's a tough one for the referee, obviously not from Italy, so Spanish referee, to see how he reacts to the tension of this whole thing. Sometimes actually it's a good thing that they're not wrapped up in it. They're beyond the tension and the history of the fixture itself.
Dumfries challenged by Krunic, out it goes for a throw. Bald-headed Stefano Pioli, who did have a 24-game spell managing Inter after he replaced Frank de Boer in 2016. He's in his black t-shirt, black trousers and white pumps in the technical area. Simeone Inzaghi has gone for the dapper look in the suit away towards our left-hand side as the ball goes out of play for a Milan throw.
It really hasn't settled down yet, Ian, but it's as if the pitch is tilted. It's not gone left, has it? It's not going over that far side. Everything happened within about 10 yards of this near touchline here. Got to widen the game out a bit, give a little bit of space.
Giroud twists his upper body, finds Benacer, plays the ball inside to Krunic. Krunic back to Theo Hernandez, and now Tomori, the England international, formerly of Chelsea, passes the ball square to Simon Kjær, the vastly experienced Danish international, blonde-haired in a ponytail, and then he will go back as Dzeko, the evergreen 37-year-old, runs towards him, and then the ball is hit long by Maignan to Giroud. Ball runs loose in the midfield. Barella plays it back. Darmian with his dark hair, and that was past a rather flat-footed Çalhanoğlu, and it will go out for a Milan throw. 3.5 minutes played, 0-0.
It's interesting you talk about the two strikers out there. Obviously Giroud and Dzeko, not young anymore. And how often do we see teams getting closed down really high up the pitch? In the English game and other teams as well. Barcelona in the past have been great at that. There isn't a hope of doing that here with those two up front, is there? They have to play a very, very different style.
Well, they have the tradition. They have 71 trophies between them. Milan is the only city with two teams who have won this competition. Inter were the last Italian team in 2010. Milan, 7 times winners. As the ball is flicked on by Lautaro Martinez, who has a real habit of scoring against Milan. 4 in his last 4 in the derbies, 6 in his last 8, 7 in 12 in total. They've got to try and keep him quiet tonight. Lautaro Martinez, the Argentinian, the World Cup winner.
Yeah, he is phenomenal when he's one-on-one with a goalkeeper. He is one of those players who, the calmest he ever looks is when he's in front of goal. When other people panic, they lash at the ball. He slows his body down and he does little flicks to finish off those chances that other players wouldn't even consider.
We're actually sat on the first row of the lower tier of the press box, and just then there was a gust of wind, and the tarpaulin, the Milan tarpaulins of the banners just lifted up, and they were tethered to the railings, but it meant that we actually can't see the technical area, as there's another gust of wind, and about 3 of them now have actually lodged over the top of that metal railing in front of us here, as the noise is every bit that I dreamt that it would be. This is an occasion that any football fan would wish that they were here. A Milan derby, a Champions League semi-final, and live on 5 Live, and Dzeko gets a free kick for Inter almost midway through the Milan half over on that far side.
Yeah, and it really hasn't settled down into a rhythm. Neither team actually feels that comfortable about the way it's playing just now. But that isn't a shock. That happens in derbies just about anywhere. But in this particular one, the players that want to get the ball at their feet play a little bit, like Mkhitaryan and Calhanoglu, they really would like it to slow down a bit, get a little bit of space. Hasn't happened for them yet.
It's going to be Federico Di Marco to take the free kick. In fact, no, he's going to leave it actually for Mkhitaryan, formerly of Manchester United and Arsenal, of course. They've waited for 5 Inter players to make their way in towards the penalty area. In fact, it will actually now be left to Di Marco to take it. Left-footed, swings it in, headed on by Francesco Acerbi. In fact, the last touch must have come off a Milan player. It's gone behind for a corner kick.
I think they're quite delighted with that, really, because that angle to put a cross in there is bordering on impossible. But they managed to get a corner kick out of it, and that is a result from there. And certainly, just now, they've gone into those Milan fans. They're not getting a good reception over there, are they? No.
Calhanoglu is getting the brunt of it. 4 years he was as a Milan player. He left in 21 to join Inter. He stands on that far side. Corner kick to Inter. 7 minutes played, 0-0. Calhanoglu swings it over. What a volley that was from Edin Dzeko. Left-footed, finds the top right-hand corner. Stunning technique and a stunning goal. And Dzeko fires Inter ahead 1-0.
Do you know what? There are so few even top strikers in the world that score that goal. It's behind him. His left foot, you'd expect him almost to try and take a touch, but he guides it. I was talking about Martinez's technique there. By the way, Andy's been marked very, very closely. Keeper just thinks, I have no chance of that. What a finish that is. Top corner, 1-0. We needed an early goal. We've got one. And it's a cracker.
I'll tell you what, he was up against Calabria, and Calabria was still tight towards him. And yet he's just sort of like shrugged Calabria with his right arm, and then he's hooked it left-footed into the top right-hand corner. A stunning goal, and Inter lead 1-0.
Just when I said they got the free kick, they took it long, and then they got the corner. I said, well, that's a result. You want that. Well, you've got Dzeko in there. You always think you've got a chance of getting something special. He didn't have to move. He didn't have to run. He just had to be strong, and he just had to use his technique.
We said that Inter were in their best run of form all season, 5 successive wins. They have won their last 2 encounters against Milan. 1-0 here in Serie A in early February. They won the Italian Super Cup in Saudi Arabia 3-0 in January. Dzeko was on the score sheet then. Milan, the last time they suffered 3 straight defeats against Inter was in the mid-90s. You have to go back to 79-80 to the last time that they actually failed to score in 3 successive games. But Inter are ahead by a goal to 0 in this Champions League semi-final. A goal now, Brighton Arsenal in the WSL. Sahel Sahi.
Brighton 0, Arsenal 3. 5 minutes to play in the first half. A corner wasn't cleared by the home side's defence, and Frida Manum with the headers put Arsenal firmly in control. Brighton 0, Arsenal 3.
And that middle tier in the Curva Nord away towards our left is absolutely bouncing. And right in the midst of it, amidst the blue and the black and the white bits of yellow flags that are waving, and there are countless flags that are waving, they've let off a red flare right in the middle of it. So they're buzzing, and some of them are glowing as Inter lead 1-0. DiMarco now away on the left-hand side, pulls it back, they let it run through, Inter here have got a second chance, and they're taking it. Mkhitaryan was the one bursting through the midfield into the penalty area. 2 goals in the space of just over 2 minutes, and Inter have blown Milan away. 2-0.
I mean, it's a fantastic goal. DiMarco, as we mentioned earlier before the game, very, very important. Him and Dumfries flies down that left-hand side as the wing back, crosses across the 18-yard line, but it's the dummy just before he comes in there. I think he's just about to go and take a touch. He doesn't, and the calmness of Mkhitaryan when he gets there at that last moment, and he calmly passes it into the net. He doesn't smash it, he doesn't hammer it, his eyes are open, he is cool can be. 2-0, it is the dream start for Inter.
Well, for Federico DiMarco, I make that 5 assists in the Champions League. But as you say, Pat, the dummy just opened up for Mkhitaryan to make that run through, and he's just scored his 5th goal of the season. And Inter now are leading by 2 goals to 0, and Milan have got a lot of work to do, especially considering they're without their key man Leao.
Well, on top of that, you have to remember, in the 4 games, the last 4 games since they qualified, they've scored 3 goals in the Champions League. They don't score a lot of goals in the Champions League. They're already 2 down. That is a massive, massive distance to come back. However, they have got a lot of time. That's the one bonus they have in their favour. They've got an entire game plus 80 minutes.
The worry is, though, is that every time they now go forward as they trail by 2 goals to 0, is that they could get picked off on the counter.
Well, that's exactly what happened there. No, it's the calmness of it and the quality of players. They didn't actually have to do anything particularly special, but it was, as I mentioned, DiMarco's been brilliant recently, not just in the Champions League, but in Serie A as well. He's been fabulous of late. Once again, no one marking him, and if you play with wing backs, they better be good, and he's pretty good.
That's the voice of Pat Nevin on BBC Radio 5 Live inside San Siro. Yet to see anything of Milan as an attacking side. Their supporters, as you may have gathered with the atmosphere, certainly haven't lost any faith, creating plenty of noise as Tonali places the ball down, and there is a corner kick to Milan, trailing 2-0 inside 11 minutes. Tonali to take it, 2 Milan players go down as that corner comes in, and there is a reaction between Salamakers and I think it was the young defender Alessandro Bastoni, and the referee's having a word with Salamakers. Of course, it would be looked at through VAR. Bastoni and Salamakers getting in a tangle.
Getting in a tangle's quite polite. I mean, certainly, if the referee wanted to look at that, he might consider, because there were arms all over. It certainly wasn't a case of throwing themselves to the ground with no contact. There were arms being raised there, but the referee has no intention of looking at it. There's an injury down on the right-hand side there. It seemed to happen off the ball. I hope that wasn't something coming from the stands. I don't think it is.
Salamakers has wandered across to the 4th official to plead his case. There was a stoppage in play because it's Benacer who's been getting treatment. Benacer is hobbling. Arsenal fans might remember he had that one appearance against Sheffield Wednesday in a League Cup tie before he left for Empoli. But VAR, if they were looking at that, they've disregarded it, and we are back underway with Milan 0, Inter 2. Dumfries Away from Salamakers, back with Damian, who spreads it to Acerbi. Acerbi, the central figure of the three, hits it left-footed forward towards DeMarco and headed away by Calabria and out of play for a throw. Quarter of an hour played, Pat Nevin, 2-0.
You're absolutely right about Milan. They've got a real problem here. They don't want to push up too far too quickly, because this game, this match, this tie, this Champions League semi-final could be beyond them if they are not intelligent in how they deal with the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Ball to Mkhitaryan, and it's hit from distance. What a strike that was by Çalhanoğlu. It cannons back off the post. Still the danger remains. They haven't dealt with a Mkhitaryan again, and then it comes towards Barella. Milan are absolutely rocking, and Inter came within centimetres of going 3-0 up through what a strike that was by Çalhanoğlu. We saw two terrific goals in Madrid last night. That would have rivaled any of them.
Well, words out of my mouth, that's exactly the phrase I was going to use. The Mkhitaryan strike, the difference was with his one there is it was the outside of the boot and it's spinning away from the goalkeeper. That's why he can't get near it. Milan, whoever good he is, just wasn't getting close to that at all. This game, as we say, I mean, recently we've seen some games, particularly with Spurs, you know, the game was gone, 15, 20 minutes into the game. It could have been the case here. It's been very, very close to that. And I suppose what Inter must be thinking, let's try and make as much use of this as possible. If you could get a third just now, they are laughing.
Well, now all of a sudden they've got problems, because I don't think Benacer can continue. And Mike Maignan, who Asmir Begovic was raving in the build-up, has gone down as well. Now, he did have a calf injury earlier in the season. It made that he couldn't go out to the World Cup with France. He missed 23 games in total, and Maignan is struggling. So the problems are mounting for Pioli. Let's go to Chelsea-Leicester in the WSL. Flo Pollock.
Chelsea blowing Leicester away. It's Chelsea 5, Leicester 0. Lauren James, the scorer this time. She drifted goal, was past any markers, rifled at home. Chelsea 5-0 up.
Sahel Sahi, another goal.
Yeah, likewise here as well. Arsenal blowing Brighton away. It's half-time now here, Ian. Victoria Pelova with the ball, slicing through the home side's defence. Brighton 0, Arsenal 4.
Benacer is unable to continue, so he's going to be replaced by more of an attacking player, really. It's Junior Messias who's coming on, 31-year-old Brazilian forward. So
they've put Diaz back in the midfield a little bit more central. I think that'd be the sensible thing to do. And Messias can go and play on the right-hand side.
And Maignan looks like he's going to be all right to continue for the time being for Milan, who trail by 2-0. But had that effort from Çalhanoğlu gone in, then you would have been tempted to say, game over.
Yeah, game over, but it has been actually such a mad season. The other thing to remember, it being a World Cup season, there are a lot of tired players in all the top leagues just now, and it's one of the reasons why you're getting some of these extraordinary results in high-scoring games, so there could be many more to come.
Messias straight away involved on that far side, the right. DeMarco is fouled. It'll be a free kick to Inter. BBC Radio 5 live inside San Siro. There is literally no substitute for being here. Tomorrow night we've got more European football for you. West Ham United against AZ Alkmaar in the Europa Conference League semi-final first leg. Saturday we're at Old Trafford, Manchester United Wolves. Sunday Everton Manchester City at 2, to be followed by Arsenal against Brighton and Hove Albion at 4:30. And then next week we'll do it all again. Tuesday back here for the return leg in Milan, and then Manchester City against Real Madrid for their return leg after that excellent game last night that was brought to you by John Murray and Chris Waddle in the Bernabeu, where it finished 1-1. We've had 2 goals here, but both in favour of the blue and black of Inter, and if anything, Milan will be feeling a little bit bruised themselves with the blue and black.
Yeah, do you know the Curva Sud away to our right there, with the Milan fans in it, you didn't think they could be quiet, but they were. They were in absolute shock. They're starting to make a noise again now, though.
Tonali running forward. Tonali fouled by Dumfries, was he? Oh, the referee tells him to stand up, much to the annoyance of the Milan supporters as the ball goes out of play.
But Ian, no big argument from Tonali. So I suspect what happened there is he's tried to jump out of the way of the tackle and managed to jump out of the way of it. Let's have a look. We've got a closer angle here. It's a good run with him. He's gone past a couple of players. Dumfries goes in to make the tackle, and he's actually just tried to get his leg out of the way because he was going to get hit. And it is one of those ones, it looks like a horrible dive. It's just him diving to get out of the way. And the referee's right not to give him a yellow card for diving, but he's also right not to give a free kick.
The voice of reason, as ever.
When will that ever become sensible and stylish?
The ball goes back to Onana, all in yellow with his bright orange boots. He clears it away over towards that far side. As the ball is played back, Bastoni will hit it early. Dzeko, who scored that terrific first goal, makes the run, plays the ball ahead. DiMarco makes the run, sent over the cross, caught by Maignan.
You see what happened though? DiMarco, he's gone down the left-hand side, and who's the one player that's in? It's the other right wing back. The amount of times they've done this season when I've watched him, left wing back to Dumfries, right wing back. No, there's no forwards even in the area, yet those two will fly all night long. It's such a hard tactic to work against.
Well, I remember seeing Dumfries for PSV against Tottenham in Eindhoven a number of years ago. He was just playing as an ordinary right back. You could have been forgiven for thinking he was a wing back because of the way he was getting forward.
He's a machine and bigger.
Runs.
He's a machine and he's bigger and stronger and taller now. Very, very good player. We're talking about players who could or couldn't do well in the Premier League. He's a no-brainer.
Yeah, 27 years of age now. They signed him for 12.5 million from PSV 2 years ago. Calabria can't pick out Messias on that far side. And then Tonali wins the ball back in the midfield, hits it long up towards Giroud. Cleared though by Acerbi. Dzeko with a cushion header, out of play it will go. For Milan throw, 6 yards over the halfway line over on that far side. Milan trailing by 2-0, and we're not even at the midway point of this first half.
Yeah, but it's calmed down. They've actually got a little bit of a foothold again. They've been able to play the ball a little bit. The game actually hadn't taken shape, really, before Inter found themselves 2-0 up, and Milan were looking around, not knowing what to do. They've managed to get the composure together a little bit. They're holding the ball better. I mean, Tonali's got on the ball a little bit more. And that's really intelligent play. It's good to see that level of intelligence. It's not panicked, it's not over-worried, it's not right, throw everyone forward right away. It's been more measured, and it's been the right thing to do.
Brahim Diaz, formerly of Manchester City, out to Salamanca's near side, the left, just in from the touchline. Teo Hernandez is in close proximity. Fair challenge by Barella. Infield now towards Dzeko. Dzeko is away from Tomori. Lautaro Martinez was just trying to drift away towards the left-hand side. Dzeko, Tomori was looking for some sort of decision, but he just beat him with sheer skill.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, any jinky winger would be delighted with that bit of skill there. Little dummy, through the legs, and leaves Tomori in his backside. Brilliant piece of skill from Dzeko.
Were you delighted with that bit of skill from Dzeko?
You can hear it with the smile in my voice.
Here is Kier at the back, just outside the centre circle. Hernandez now at a walking pace, just trying to recover after conceding those 2 quick goals, Milan. Calabria short of the halfway line, forward ball, couldn't pick out Tonali. Interception from Mkhitaryan, forward ball along the ground. Lautaro Martinez finds Dzeko. Dzeko inside right channel of the penalty area, gets the shot away, right-footed, and it's a wayward finish, goal kick. 2-0 to Inter.
It's a wee bit of a shame that from Dzeko. Look, you've got every right to have a dig, have a go, but you get marked very quickly there. Tomori did. He closed all the angles, all the area. He's got Teo Hernandez right behind him as well. Dzeko has to get his head up in this occasion. He's got players overlapping him, he's players inside. He scored goals early in this game by doing that, by finding those spaces, and I think Dzeko made a mistake there.
It's imperative now, isn't it, from a neutral's point of view, that the next goal is scored by Milan?
Yeah, to some degree I would say so. But it's, you know, you see the madness of some of the games at the moment. If they went 3-0 down, but you've got to go back before the end, you start thinking, oh well, maybe it can be that open. It's Champions League. Remember some of the recent ones we've had. Yeah. The Manchester City, Real Madrid. Remember the Chelsea, Real Madrid one recently as well. At this stage, you get wild games.
Yeah. 4 years ago, Anfield, Liverpool, Barcelona would be another one to add to that list. And then of course Onana, who's in the goal for Inter 24 hours later after that game, was part of the Ajax side that was ousted out of the competition from Tottenham Hotspur after Lucas Moura's dramatic goal. But Inter are leading by 2-0, and at the minute Onana hasn't really been tested as Dumfries challenges with Salamakers. Salamakers then goes to ground. Dumfries has got to be careful. He fouled Brahim Diaz earlier. The referee, though, he looks quite lenient. Oh, that was a hastily taken free kick by Theo Hernandez, and he's given it straight away.
I felt a little bit sorry for Dumfries there. He was in so much space. They just didn't get the ball over to him quickly enough. You know Inter want to do that. They want to get those wing backs on the ball in space whenever they can, so they try it. But they've actually pushed it that time. The ball wasn't on when they eventually got it under control, but you can see what they're trying to do.
Theo Hernandez to Salamakers midway through the Inter half on the left-hand side, back towards Tomori outside the centre circle of his own half. He goes square to Simon Kjær. Calabria now on that far side, the right. Inter in their red and black striped shirts, black shorts, playing from right to left. Tonali makes the run right side of the penalty area down towards the corner flag, and then plays a short forward ball, but there was nobody there. And Borrell will play it forward now to Çalhanoğlu. And now Dzeko peels out wide on the left-hand side, and what a pinpoint ball in field that was to Martinez, who turns and then look for the diagonal return towards Dzeko. The link-up play between the two is excellent.
That's one thing they've got. They've got two sets of players. They've got link-up plays. You know, Correa is very, very good alongside Lukaku, but those two are certainly the A-team right now.
Salamakers goes down, near side the left. 6 yards up from the byline, wins a free kick from Milan. Bearing in mind that they've created very little in open play, let's see what they can do from a set piece here.
Yeah, they've got the centre backs up. Kjær's going to come as well, but I think the player you're looking to more than anyone else, I think certainly that man Olivier Giroud, if you get him any sort of half chance, particularly with his head at the near post, there's very, very few that are better than him.
So you've got Messias and Tonali are the two who are going to stand over the free kick here on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds, where it's Milan 0, Inter 2 in this Champions League semi-final first leg here in San Siro. Inter have got everybody back. Interestingly, that Milan have got 3 players outside the penalty area. Will it be the in-swinger or the out-swinger? It's going to be the in-swinger from Tonali in towards the near post, headed away, drops to the edge of the area, strikes the chase of Calabria, comes back out. Brahim Diaz turns, tries to get it away, wrestles clear, flicks it through to Giroud, back towards Brahim Diaz. Excellent defending by tumbling Acerbi. And in fact, the last touch must have been off Brahim Diaz. It's going to be a goal kick to Inter.
I think offside. The assistant referee put the flag up really late there. But you can see what they're trying to do, which is not always a good thing, because the problem is you can see the defence shoot they're trying to do as well. It was a 1-2, but it was telegraphed, and any defender worth his salt was going to read that one, and certainly Inter read that one with lots of ease. And they have looked quite controlled there. Bastoni at the back looks really, quite cool. And many great defenders from Italy in the past, after at the back, they love to tackle, but they're comfortable on the ball as well. Bastoni is that.
He's just reached 100 appearances for the club. Alessandro Bastoni, 24 years of age. As Çalhanoğlu comes forward, back heels the ball then towards Martinez, intercepted by Tonali. Had his heels clipped, he's gone down. That will be a free kick to Milan. Interestingly as well, Pat, you talk about the goals conceded. Up until this game, Milan had conceded just 1 goal in their last 6 in the Champions League. They had gone 596 minutes without conceding until the 1-1 draw against Napoli, and then twice in the space of just over 2 minutes they had that defence breach.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, the last 4 games they were binary code, weren't they? They were 1-0, 0-0, 1-0. And as I said, they've only scored 3 goals in those last 4 games in the Champions League. So it's a massive ask for them. They're going to have to adapt at some point, but as I say, they've got time to adapt, and they've got themselves back into this game now.
Brahim Diaz feeds the ball to Messias. Low ball in, the little flick by Calabria. Hits the side netting as he made the run to the near side of the 6-yard area. Had to adjust his feet. Goal kick, 2-0 to Inter.
When I say they've got themselves back into the game, I mean they're actually now getting a lot of possession. They're now getting into good areas. They're now looking a little bit more dangerous. They've got a corner, they've put a couple of crosses in, they've tried to do those little 1-2s through the middle that they're quite good at. So they're back in playing at their style, what they do best.
Half an hour played on BBC Radio 5 Live, and Pioli is the one who's posed with the conundrum for his side to try and get back in. That was a mistake by Kier. Lautaro Martinez goes down. Penalty! Penalty to Inter, and a yellow card is shown as well to Kier. And all of a sudden, it's going from bad to worse for Milan.
Well, the skill is extraordinary. I was purring over the beautiful little jink that Dzeko had before. Lautaro took Martinez there. He's got a player on him. Kier gets too close to him. He has dummied him out of the field. Now, he said that he's been pulled back there. We're going to have to have a look at it again here because it's a tough one to see. Kier's actually put his hand on his waist. Is it a pull? It's enough. It's not even a tug of the shirt, but his hand's on there, and you can say it's a push. It's one of those ones that you doubt that the referee would change his mind on it. It's not an obvious mistake, but it's a soft penalty.
VAR will be having a look at this, and that is Juan Muñera.
Oh, he's going to have a look,
And all of a sudden, that Juan Muñera has said to his fellow Spanish referee, come a look and have a look at the monitor, which indicates to me that Muñera has said that this isn't a penalty.
Well, there's certainly, it's not a drag, he's not pulled the shirt, right? I'll say that right away. There's an arm on the shirt, no more than that. Are you allowed to put your arm on the shirt and pull the... Does he pull him back, or does he just rest his arm? If you're an Inter fan, I know what you think, and if you're a Milan fan, what does the referee think?
No penalty. It's the first thing that the Milan supporters have had to cheer all night. They might be trailing by 2-0, and the yellow card has been rescinded too.
And they now want, typical, they want Martinez to get a yellow card for diving now. But there was a hand on his back. He's made the most of it. No, let me change that phrasing. He's absolutely tried to con the referee from he's made the most of it. He felt a hand on his waist and he's thrown himself down as if he was dragged back. In the end, I am delighted the referee's changed his mind there, and I didn't think he would, but I'm delighted he did.
So, no penalty, play back underway, Inter lead by 2-0, and there is, I would imagine, a sigh of relief for every supporter of the Rossoneri inside San Siro tonight, and indeed worldwide, when you're given their vast support across the globe. 2-0 it remains. DeMarco loses out to Calabria, slides into the challenge. That was Damian challenging with Salamakers, comes out to Teo Hernandez, early ball, Brahim Diaz loses out to Çalhanoğlu, and Barella now forward to Dzeko over the halfway line. Martinez is ahead of him. Dzeko runs away from the challenge of Krunic. It might reach DeMarco, hits it first time, blocked, falls to Martinez, just over the top. Took it very, very quickly, got it out from underneath his feet inside the D. All the chances, all the threat from Inter.
Oh, they're scary when they're going forward like that. Goes out in the way there, and DeMarco hasn't got a chance. I don't think he catches it particularly well. But when the ball spins into Martinez again, his take was world class, absolutely world class. Brings it down through his legs and makes 5 or 6 yards there. Gets a chance to shoot it, doesn't get it quite on target. But they are so special going forward, and they must be fearful. You mentioned it earlier on. Milan must be fearful every time. This is a question for you, Ian. Did you think you would go and look at that penalty again? I didn't.
No. Here is Barella. DeMarco hits it first time, takes the deflection, and Dumfries throws himself at it, and it goes out for a goal kick. He was about 8 yards out, 2-0 Inter.
It's them two again now. It's a wing back. He's going to the left now. Who's the furthest forward player? He's a wing back, but he's basically a forward. He's hammering in there because he's got such energy there. if you watched it and slowed it down and did an analysis of it afterwards, you would just watch what happens when one wing-back gets the ball. Just look at the other one. And he is hammering in there because he knows he needs to trap that back post. They've got one goal out of it so far from that overlap. They could have had 2 or 3 more.
Well, I've got a question for you. Did you think the game would be as entertaining as it is, or did you think it would be a much more cagey affair?
I would have taken 1 goal before the start. I'll be honest with you. You know, it's a 2-legged tie. You thought it'd be tactical, cagey, unsure, but because you get an early goal, then everything's out the window. And if you look at it just now, Inter could have had a penalty, scored 2 goals, had the post, and had other chances as well. This game this tie could definitely be over, but it isn't yet.
Not yet, but Inter are leading by 2 goals to 0. That's the voice of Pat Nevin with us here. 10 minutes to go to half-time on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And Milan, who are unbeaten in their 4 previous European encounters against their city rivals. They won the home leg 2-0 in the semi-final in 2003 as the ball comes into the penalty area, lifted back in by Tomori, volleyed away by DiMarco, and then that was the quarter-final where they won 2-0, then they were awarded the second leg 3-0 in the semi-final in 2003, 0-0 in the home leg for Milan, and then 1-1 in the return, and going through on away goals through Shevchenko, who is here tonight. They also spotted Novak Djokovic, who's amongst the crowd tonight.
Yeah, seeing a guy beside him, give me some space. Problem was that guy was Ibrahimovic, wasn't it?
Yeah. Novak Djokovic didn't have to apply with the 2 million ticket requests amidst the 76,000 lucky ones inside San Siro tonight, as we're in the 37th minute. And it's an Inter throw on that far side, the left. BBC Radio 5 Live. Bastoni goes and picks out Dzeko, makes the run towards that left-hand side, holds it up, plays the ball inside. Krunic with the interception, gives the ball away cheaply. Inter then work it out towards Dumfries on this near side, the right. And Dumfries passes the ball back to Damian. One of 2 ex-Milan players in their side. Mkhitaryan forward ball, Barella to Dumfries. Hits it early, might reach Dzeko. Calabria was tucked in and had to be alert. He comes under pressure from Martinez, and Calabria will clear, but he's charged down by Martinez. Up in the air it goes. Doesn't go out of play just yet. Now it does, off the chest of Krunic, who dropped to one knee, and Inter have a throw.
He's been fantastic, Martinez, tonight, hasn't he? Yeah, some people have been annoyed with him throwing himself to the ground when he was trying to get that penalty kick, but all his other work, and he has worked hard, and he's closed down, and his skills when he's on the ball against much taller, more physical players have been spectacular.
Dumfries with a long looping throw, right hand side. Dzeko flicks it on. Calabria knees it away towards Barella, hits it on the full, first time right footed, blocked, cleared away. Now with Brahim Diaz, a chance maybe to counter-attack for Milan. Brahim Diaz trying to run away from Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan though shrugs him off. Brahim Diaz goes to the ground far too easily, and the referee just says, get back up off your feet. At the minute, he lacked the strength, and Inter have the initiative, and some, 2-0.
Do you know, it's interesting to watch a player like Mkhitaryan. He looks stronger now, yeah. He looks fitter now, he looks like a box-to-box midfielder now, which was nothing like the player that we watched before when he was over in England. So it's a very, very strange to see such a changed player.
I've just checked, he's 34 by the way. He's 34, he's running around as if he's 24.
Honestly, you know, if you just watched him and you didn't know the name, you'd be thinking, you wouldn't think it was Mkhitaryan in the style he's playing just now.
You could say he's had an injection of pace, couldn't he?
Yes, you could do, yeah.
Reinvigorated the way that he got back there with Mkhitaryan. 6 minutes to go to half-time. Dumfries has gone down. Inter still lead 2-0.
That's a battle down there, isn't it? Dumfries against Hernandez. They have thumped into each other all night long. They started after about 30 seconds and they haven't stopped just now. Having said that, I think Dumfries is winning the battle.
So Çalhanoğlu and Barella just having a little word with each other. Çalhanoğlu's going to take the free kick. 172 appearances and 32 goals for Milan in 4 years before he switched to the other side of the dressing room here in San Siro. Çalhanoğlu waits to take it. Giroud's coming back to help out, and it comes now. Krunic eventually finds Giroud, and Giroud tumbles with a challenge from Martinez outside his own penalty area. 5 minutes to go to the break, and Milan 2-0 down. Mind you, if that penalty hadn't been overruled from VAR, it had the potential to be much worse.
And I'm sure they'll talk about it at half-time back in the studio, you know, because it was given, you know, in England at the moment, that's given that probably doesn't get overruled because there was some contact. But in the end, that tiny little contact, he made far too much of it. Well, certainly that's what I feel. And it's kept the game alive. So I'm happy about that as well.
Certainly has. Asmir Begovic in the studio with Steve Crossman tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live. So we'll get the thoughts of Asmir during the break. A long raking ball. Salamakers brings it off his chest, looks to turn, tries to get away from Dumfries, who's quickly back goal side. Helped out by Theo Hernandez, delivers the cross, headed away by Acerbi, picked up by Tonali. Been linked heavily with Liverpool in recent months. The little flick there by Messias didn't fall towards Giroud. Cleared by Inter. Mkhitaryan now looking to break. Theo Hernandez tries to curb that run in the midfield. Çalhanoğlu back to Bastoni, and we've got 4 minutes to go to half-time, and Inter are in control, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, slightly surprised that they didn't go for it. They had it was about a 3 against 2.5 they had there. They didn't make the best of it, but again, when they break into those areas, they look very, very good. Just another one, and this time Dumfries. He's come across Salamakers and he's caught him with his forearm. It's one of those ones, if the referee could take a dim view of that, as it is, he's taking no view of it, he's ignoring it completely. I don't think it was deliberate, but he's got to be a little bit more careful. Dumfries has been involved in a lot, good and bad.
Salamakers just feeling that, rubbing his face, checking to see if there's a little bit of blood down there, but there's not.
Yeah, I hate to cut across you. The reason why he's done that is because Salamaker's done it the last time. Had him 1-on-1, got past him with a really, really nice trick, and then Dumfries is just reminding him that he's there physically.
Brahim Diaz tries to roll away from Darmian, then loses his footing as Acerbi comes across to cover and puts the ball out of play for a throw. Brahim Diaz again is complaining to the referee, but he just lacks the strength to deal with the Inter defence. 2-0 to Inter. Krunic inside. Tomori, diagonal ball. Calabria joins the attack, lays it out towards Messias, right corner of the area. Messias looks for a shooting opportunity, crosses. Giroud tries to head it on the volley. Up in the air it goes, flicked away on the half volley. Tonali tried to meet it first time, spins out, sliced out towards the right hand side. Messias gives away a free kick in that challenge with Bastoni. And it will be a free kick to Inter.
How similar was that chance that fell to Giroud there? I say chance, you know, that's got inverted commas, heavy inverted commas around it, because it wasn't much of a chance, but he swung a right foot at it and he caught it quite well. Difference being the Inter defending was superb. He got really close to him and managed to block it there, but very similar to the goal that Dzeko actually scored up the other end.
It really was a wonderful strike by Dzeko, considering that he was being tightly marked by Calabria. Left-footed volley, stunning goal from the former Manchester City player. The first of two. A notice on that electronic scoreboard on the far side in 3 minutes, 8 and 11 before Mkhitaryan added to it. We've got 90 seconds to go to half-time here on BBC Radio 5 Live. We're live inside San Siro. Onana clears long. A relatively untroubled first half for the Inter goalkeeper. Brahim Diaz tries to run away from Mkhitaryan. There was a foul, good referee, tried to let it flow, then eventually brought it back when Brahim Diaz overrun it because of the way he'd been impeded. It will be a free kick to Milan inside the centre circle.
You're right about Diaz, he's very, very important. I think he prefers to be more central. Sometimes he gets stuck out a bit wide, and I think he prefers to be more central. He can twist and turn, role players quite well. And the problem he's got, and it's a quite obvious problem, once he gets beyond, has he got that stinging pace that you need to go and take other players on, and I'm not sure he has.
Salamakers goes on a mazy run. Salamakers still going, and eventually it was Dumfries who took it away off his toes as He evades the sliding challenge of the Belgian international, comes towards Theo Hernandez to Brahim Diaz, feeds it into Messias, Tonali taken off his toes, gives away a free kick in favour of Inter. He pulled back Mkhitaryan when there was probably no real need, and Inter have a free kick. When you consider that the missing Leao, the previous games we've seen Milan this season, Theo Hernandez has got forward a lot more from his left-back role. We haven't seen much of that tonight for Milan.
No, but he's also playing. I think the battle against Dumfries is as much the problem. Dumfries, had Leao been playing, Dumfries wouldn't be this far up the park, would he? You know, he'd been pushed further back because of the pace of Leao on the left-hand side for Milan. So he's not been able to, you know, he's going far forward, he's pushing Hernandez back, but that's got to do with the fact that he's not got Leao to worry about. Having said that, Leao, he has his bad games and good games, and he's quite a streaky player, and he can spend a long time doing very little in a game. So, you know, I think at the moment Salamakis has been a very good deputy.
That's the familiar voice of Pan Nevid on BBC Radio 5 Live. We're into 4 minutes of added on time, and a yellow card has just been shown to Krunic for clear dissent to the referee. Brahim Diaz went down, they surrounded the Spanish referee, and Krunic clearly spoke out of turn and was shown yellow.
Yeah, I mean, it is a really hard Mkhitaryan elbow in the face there. It's very difficult to say that he actually meant that, but it is an elbow right in the cheekbone, and that one would have smarted without a shadow of a doubt.
Free kick to Milan, looking for a way back into the game in stoppage time as they trail 2-0. Tonali with a free kick 10 yards forward of the centre circle. Inter have everybody back. The volume increases. Tonali hits it long. Giroud high off the chest, lays it out. Salamakis with a cross, low. Giroud falling backwards, hits it first time. Lacked the direction, goal kick. 2-0 Inter.
Yeah, a bit of a shame that there, but it just goes to show that the game absolutely isn't over now. You can see little bits of hope coming for Milan at this point in time, because you get Salamakis is doing well. When he can get away from Dumfries, he's doing quite well. He's beating players. He's not creating anything clear cut yet. I do think Diaz is looking pretty special in the middle. That they are having to hack him down. They are having to be very physical against him to stop him. So there are hopes there. There are little green shoots. But having said that, they know that every time Inter break, they are capable of scoring a goal.
Here is Dzeko, just trying to play it first time towards Martinez, cleared by Milan. Salamakis keeps it in play. The interception though by Darmian. Darmian had that spell, of course, at Manchester United. Forward towards Dzeko. Tomori with a clearance, making that run forward. Then was Barella, who finds the roof of the net from a tight angle, but it's gone out of play. It'll be a goal kick that Mike Magnon's going to take away towards our right-hand side. In stoppage time then here on BBC Radio 5 Live. We're with you through until 10:30 when Colin Murray takes over, and very soon we'll be handing back to the studio with Stephen Asmir. Pat.
Yeah, just the feeling in the stadium. Obviously the Inter fans are loving every second, and they have not shut up since that first goal, and that's a great thing, because it's a very small percentage of the fans in here, but what a noise they're making. But you're getting a little bit of it from the Milan fans as well. They're trying to keep their noise up. They're trying to keep the team in it, and they're doing a decent job of it now.
Krunic to Salamakis. Salamakis moves on the inside, looking towards Brahim Diaz. Acerbi goes to ground and gets the challenge in. Ball lifted forward by Theo Hernandez. Messias backpedaling, takes it high on the chest, right corner of the area. Messias onto his toes, drives it across goal, over Onana. Salamakis will not keep the ball in play. It will be an Inter throw, as they still have this 2-goal lead.
Very intriguing there, the way Messias got the ball. First time I've actually had to see Di Marco doing any defending, and he didn't. He just fell off, and allowed the cross to go in. So quite surprising that should give Messias, he must think to himself, look, he's scared of me, he's scared of my pace. So he'll want to try and get as much ball as he can in that final third.
Dumfries to take the throw on the near side, the right. The Inter supporters you can hear as the half-time whistle sounds. And it is a half-time scoreline that will certainly please everyone. of the Inter fans in the away section in the Curva Nord here in San Siro, because those 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes. Dzeko's wonderful left-footed volley after 8 minutes, Mkhitaryan bursting through to make it 2-0. They've hit the post of Inter, and they've then had a penalty award overruled as well. We'll hear more from Pat and Asmir, but now it's Steve Crossman with a half-time score of Milan 0, Inter 2.
Ian, Pat, thank you very much indeed. So we've got Mina Rizuki with us, we've got Statman Dave, we've got Asmir Begovic, of course, Everton goalkeeper formerly of Milan, and Dave, you just made an absolute schoolboy error there in the studio, didn't you? Don't say to Asmir, do you want to watch the goals back? I've got them on my laptop.
It's just the nerdy side of my football watching, you know. I like to rewatch these things 5-6 times. Unfortunately, I forgot.
Very polite of you anyways.
Yeah, I was just trying to be nice,
I
Steve.
declined the option.
Asmir, you said to me off air that one of the things footballers hate as a question is what went wrong. So what went wrong?
What went right would be much easier to answer. I mean, everything that could have gone wrong for Milan has absolutely gone wrong. I think in a game like this, you've got your own crowd. You want to start fast, gain momentum, and of course you concede from a set play, and that just sets you right back. An incredible finish by Dzeko. Obviously, we talked about him being strong with both feet, and that's an incredible finish. And then Mkhitaryan with the second. Benacer off injured as well. No Leao. So yeah, it's probably an absolute disaster. One that in the wildest dreams probably couldn't have imagined.
Mina, the only good news for Milan is that the tie isn't over, and on another day with the inside of the post struck and a penalty overturned, it could have been.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is where you have to sort of applaud Inzaghi, because he's clearly been watching a lot of Milan. And the problem with Milan in these big games is because they do have kids that still get a little bit scared in these types of situations, and the crowd is very strong. If you look at the games against Napoli, they started both of them very, very slowly. By 20 minutes, Napoli had already managed 8 shots and 7 corners, Milan none. Second leg, in the first 20 minutes, Napoli had managed 7 shots and 5 corners, and Milan had managed none. So the instruction has been start very quickly, because Milan take a while to really find their feet, and that's what Inter have done. They've just gone all hell for leather and just absolutely dominated as much as they could, tried to score the goals very quickly and go on the back foot. But they're also a combative team. They know how to win the duels, and people laugh at the ages of Dzeko and Mkhitaryan, but frankly they've been the best too.
Take us inside that Milan dressing room then, Asmir. Who is going to be the big voice now at half-time? Will it be the manager, or will it be someone like Simon Kjaer?
Yeah, well, I think first, a good thing that half-time has come. I think it gives them a chance to regroup a little bit, collect their thoughts. But in terms of voices, I would imagine that Zlatan Ibrahimovic will be in there, and Simon Kjaer will obviously have a few things to say, and of course then the manager will say his piece. The good thing about the Milan squad, when you look over the last few years, they do have resilience. They have bounced back before from certain setbacks, so they're not out of this tie. You mentioned it earlier, and I think you're spot on. This could have been 4, and obviously then it's an absolute massive mountain to climb. So it's 2. Listen, get the next goal. Get the next goal. It's got to be the answer. It's got to be the answer here. It's got to be the aim. Because if you get that goal again, you've got the home crowd. You can change the momentum. You can change the atmosphere in the whole place, and then you can see where that takes you.
There's a couple of top tennis players actually at San Siro for this game. The Italian Open tennis is going on right now, by the way, but it's actually going on down in Rome, which is like 350 miles away. So Matteo Berrettini is there, and he's with the Inter contingent with Javier Zanetti around him. In fact, no, Berrettini's with Zlatan, and Novak Djokovic is with Javier Zanetti. So at the minute, Djokovic is beating Berrettini. He's picked the right side, as he did in a Wimbledon final back in the day, in fact. So all the stars are out at San Siro. Let's go back to the Women's Super League. Chelsea been playing Leicester tonight and hammering them. Flo Pollock.
Yeah, full time, a dominant Chelsea demolished Leicester by 6-0. The goals shared across the team, including a brace for Pernilla Harder and a screamer from Jelena Kankovic right at the end. This win takes Chelsea to 49 points, 1 point behind leaders Manchester United with a game in hand still. It also boosts their goal difference, which could be key if they are to win the WSL for a 4th year in a row. And judging by that performance, they have to be favourites, really. Full time here, it's Chelsea 6, Leicester 0.
6 for Chelsea, 4 for Arsenal, Sahil Sahi.
Yeah, and we've got 24 minutes to play here, Steve. It's Brighton 0, Arsenal 4. Arsenal in total control. All of the 4 goals coming in the first half. 2 for Stina Blackstenius, 1 for Frida Manum and 1 for Victoria Pelova. Brighton, they still need another 2 points to keep them out of relegation. Is this a 5th? No, it's a good save from Megan Walsh, the Brighton goalkeeper. So Brighton still need another 2 points, Steve, to be safe from relegation. It's Brighton 0, Arsenal 4.
And a little bit more football news to bring you with regards to Watford. They've announced the appointment of Valerian Ismail as their new head coach. I'm sure the 72 Plus podcast on the Football Daily will have more on that for you on Friday, but we're all about the Champions League tonight. Half time, AC Milan 0, Inter Milan 2. We'll be back with the second half after the latest news on 5 Live with Tim Daly.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. Mirror Group Newspapers has been accused of using appalling and unlawful methods to get stories about Prince Harry at the start of a 7-week High Court trial. Lawyers said senior executives there had hidden widespread wrongdoing during the 90s and the 2000s. The group has apologised to Prince Harry for paying an investigator to find out about a visit to a nightclub in 2004, but denies its executives knew that his and other phones were being hacked. The Republican Congressman George Santos has pleaded not guilty to all 13 federal charges filed against him, including fraud and money laundering. He's appeared in a federal court on Long Island. The heaviest fighting in months between the Israeli army and Palestinian militants has broken out in the Gaza Strip. 6 Palestinians have reportedly been killed. And members of the biggest civil service union, the PCS, have voted to renew their mandate for strike action for a further 6 months. The unions held a series of walkouts in a long-running dispute over pay and conditions. And that's the news on 5 Live.
Are you ready to show the world how we host? It's time for Eurovision in Liverpool. Come on, Ryland and Scott, get yourself looking Eurovision fabulous.
Shoulder pads or Cuban Hills? Both, obviously.
Bring on the buffet.
Perfect. I've got all the nibbles.
Oh, tar Nigella. Hey, use lot, make some noise. Let them hear us in Kiev.
Douze points.
The Eurovision Song Contest second semi-final.
United by music.
Thursday night on iPlayer and BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Milan 0, Inter 2, half-time in the Champions League semi-final first leg. We'll be back at San Siro for second half commentary shortly. We'll also bring you commentary of another big European semi-final on Thursday on 5 Live. It's in the Conference League. West Ham taking on AZ Alkmaar. The first leg in full, live from 7. It'll kick off at 8 p.m. Here's West Ham's club record goal scorer in Europe, Jared Bowen.
Even last couple of years when, we've been doing well and even when we lost the game, spirits are still high, and I still think we've kept that same kind of belief in the changing room. Of course it hurts this season what's happened. We haven't enjoyed it, but we've used that character that we've got in the dressing room to get us out of the position that we needed to get out of. And in Europe as well, we've used that and done really well in that, and we're in another semi-final, so that's massive. And listen, I've only been here 3 years, but I feel a massive part of this club as well, and a fan almost as well, so I know how much it means for the fans, and I'm one of them that want to give them that success. So yeah, the Mrs. Old Man is obviously with me every week, but no, I think for everyone, the whole club, not been a great season, but I think staying in the Premier League is the main aim, and bringing the trophy home for the fans would be a good end to a bad season, I'd say.
That's Jared Bowen. In case you're wondering, his partner's old man is Danny Dyer, so that's why he was saying he's been going a little bit mad. Let's bring in the former West Ham midfielder Nigel Rio-Coco. Good evening, Nigel.
Good evening.
It's such a funny season for West Ham, isn't it? Because they're obviously going to stay in the Premier League, add a European trophy to that, and that's a remarkable campaign. But it hasn't felt that way for West Ham fans for quite a bit of the season, has it?
No, it hasn't. It hasn't felt that way because of how well they did in the previous seasons in the European competition. And I think with that season and doing so well, the expectations just rose tremendously. So there's great expectations coming into this season, and where they're not met, And with the signings that were made, it kind of just made it so difficult to really swallow with knowing what that team is capable of.
I think it's great to see a club really going for it in a competition like this, because so often, mostly people probably who support clubs that regularly compete for Europa League and particularly Champions League might not think of the Conference League of being worth that much. But to the vast majority of football fans, any European trophy is absolutely huge, isn't it?
Yeah, any European trophy is. It's the recognition of being, one of the better teams in Europe, regardless of how it's looked upon. It's still success, and it's creating a winning mentality, and it's also adding a winning trophy to your club, so it gets a bit more recognition in the world football stage.
What do you think will happen next with David Moyes? Do you think it depends on what happens in that competition, or will he have made his mind up already?
I think you'd hope that the club takes their time. And you got to give credit to the club, though, because even in the difficult season that they've had, we've seen numerous of changes made by other clubs, and they still stuck with David Moyes to give him the opportunity. Like you said, it looks like they'll be safe for the Premier League for another year, but you still keep hearing rumblings and obviously other managers that are available. But that's sometimes something that can be a dangerous situation for West Ham, because the grass isn't always greener. So I just think that they need to take their time and analyze it properly after the season is done.
Yeah. I suppose the other question is, might it just come down to his decision and how he feels about it? Because, he's had quite a bit of stick from fans at times this season, because they've not been particularly happy with it overall. He would be within his rights to feel that, where else can I take this, I guess?
Yeah, it's difficult to say that, but when you look at David Moyes' character and the person that he is a battler. He's a winner. He's never going to give up. And I don't think that anything anyone can say to him will make him really doubt himself as a manager. I think he'll be the type of manager that will be willing to go again next season and wanting to go again next season, regardless of how this season has gone. But it's something that him and the club have to come together and kind of decide at, because it has been a disappointing season. But at the same time, you've got to give credit for David Moyes, because it was him that took West Ham to the highest of heights in most recent times to make it such a successful season, the previous one before.
Great stuff, Nigel. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Top man, Nigel Reo-Coker, former West Ham midfielder. Statman has just waved a phone in my face, which has got absolutely nothing on it. Did you want to say something about West Ham? Is that
it was just the sort of development of Declan Rice again this season. Okay. His stats in the Conference League and the Premier League are absolutely outstanding. He's 10th in Europe for passes into the final, third considering only Bournemouth and Forest have got a lower average possession. It's pretty incredible. We all know he's up there for the interceptions, first in the Premier League, third for tackles plus interceptions. He's a player that's shown real great maturity this season especially, and it would be great to see him lift the European trophy.
That's a good point. Please don't wave your lock screen.
Are you trying to raise his price? Maybe get a little commission?
Yeah, West Ham have been on the phone today and they said, look, you do some stats.
See what you're doing.
Get an extra 10 to 15 million pounds. I think, Declan Rice for me is worth so much money.
Love it, dude.
You've seen
so
good through him, Asmir. You've seen
what a guy.
Straight through him.
I know.
How did Milan get back into this in the second half then?
Well, I think, again, first and foremost, stop the bleeding. As we said, it could have been a lot more with the potential penalty and everything else to post. So I think stay solid, stay in the game. You can't win in the first leg, so you can definitely lose it. So I think, again, keep it at this scoreline. Maybe, get the next goal. I think if they can get the next goal, then I think it changes a lot. I think it changes the whole feel. Will certainly change the feel in the stadium, the atmosphere and the support they'll have. And you never know, maybe they can nick a draw in the end. So I think just calm down, keep playing, keep fighting, and hopefully get the next goal.
Mina?
Yeah, pretty much. I can't disagree with that. I think that Milan are a team that tend to grow into the game. I think this is where you need to bring out an emotional I don't think you can do that with them really commanding everything. But Giroud is the guy that always knows how to turn it around them. And I know this is a game about the old guys, but this old guy I feel like can change something for Milan. So they just got to try to stay in the game and see what happens. But they're probably now going to be waiting for the second leg.
The one guy, Asmir, we haven't talked about is Çalhanoğlu, because it didn't occur to me that, again, you played with him at Milan, because he's done what it happens much more in Serie A than it would in any other country, that you can go between the two clubs, and he was so close with that shot.
Oh, he was very close. They would have known that Hakan Çalhanoğlu is an absolute cannon of a strike. So yeah, everything went out the window for Milan. They didn't close down those shots, didn't close down the strengths. I mean, his forward running, Barela's forward running, Mkhitaryan. I mean, it's just obviously summed up in the second goal that Mkhitaryan overruns Tonali. Tonali's goal side, 30, 40 yards from goal, and Mkhitaryan just gets ahead of him, which obviously is not something that you want to see in games of this magnitude. But anyway, I think Çalhanoğlu was close. They need to get out to these guys, those midfield runners, and then obviously try and create a bit more energy in that game for Milan. And I think that's the way they can start turning around.
Asmir Begovic, Statman Dave, Mina Rizuki, all with us on 5 Live Sport. We'll have much more to come at full time as well. We'll break it all down before handing over to Colin Murray. But it's time for the second half. Back inside San Siro, which might still be in shock. Pat Nevins with Ian Dennis.
Well, Inter have just taken to the field, and hardly surprising that Inzaghi has not made any changes. So Onana in goal as he just bounces the ball down below with a white towel draped around his neck as he will make his way out to our right-hand side and curve a suit. So Onana in goal, a back three of Damian, Acerbi and Bastoni, Dumfries and DeMarco, the wing-backs right and left respectively, Barella, Çalhanoğlu, Mkhitaryan, and a front pairing of Dzeko and Martinez. And Inter in their blue and black striped shirts and white shorts as Milan take to the field. The Rossoneri in their red and black, and they too have made no other changes, but of course they did make one in the first half with Benacer coming off for Messias. So Maignan is in goal, Calabria, Tomori, Pierre and Hernandez is the defence. The midfield of Krunic, Tonali and Brahim Diaz with Salamakers, Messias and Giroud. And trailing by 2-0. Pat Nevin, 1979-1980 was the last time that they failed to score in 3 successive games against Inter. They didn't have a shot on target in that first half.
No, they didn't, but there were moments where they get into good position, so that's something. The other thing they've got in their favour now is they are heading towards the Curva Sud. They are heading towards their own fans, so they'll be drawn in.
And as we are back underway, and Kier hits a long ball in the direction of Giroud, might fall to Tonali, stabs it forward, into the penalty area it goes. Damian was expecting Onana to come off his line. He was a little flat-footed and Damian took no chances and put the ball out of play for a throw.
Yeah, but you heard that noise in the background, and that was their fans down there. And it is, I mean, it just lifts a player when you know that every time you do anything at all, they'll be behind you.
Cross lifted in from the left. Messias was there. Tomori goes down under a challenge. Back into the penalty area, and it will run out of play. It'll be a goal kick. If you've just joined us on BBC Radio 5 Live, let me set the scene. Here in San Siro, with the striking red girders up aloft in the darkness of the Milan night, we've got the Curva Nord away towards our left, and in that middle tier, that's where the 7,000 travelling fans of Inter are jumping up and down and waving their flags. Above them and beneath them are the Milan supporters. We've only got 2 tiers on that far side, and then we've got the 3 tiers in the Curva Sud as we sit here in the main stand of this iconic stadium, where Inter are leading 2-0 through Dzeko after 8 minutes and Mkhitaryan after 11. And anybody who's just tuned into 5 Live or turned in on the app on BBC Sounds, Pat Nevin, what were your thoughts in that first half?
Well, a brilliant start from Inter. The game actually hadn't settled and they were 2-0 up. When it settled after about 15-20 minutes, Milan have looked okay on the ball, but Inter just looked much more dangerous in that final third. And maybe in particular, with Martinez up front is very, very special when he gets half chances. Dzeko, his goal was amazing, but the wide players, Dumfries and DeMarco, ball was unstoppable in that first 45. Milan have got to stop them.
Milan have been awarded a free kick in a central area. Midway through the Inter half, Inter have got everybody back. Our Spanish referee, Jesus Gil Manzano, has just done a little sprint to this near side. So Teo Hernandez and Tonali stand over the free kick. Teo Hernandez left-footed clips it in. Giroud goes down. He was complaining that he was being pulled back. It was always going away from him. Out of play, it goes for a goal kick. And the referee, in fact, there's Dumfries has stayed down.
Yeah, I was trying to see it was Dumfries, wasn't it? He says he got an elbow, and he did get a real cracker of an elbow. I mean, Giroud is not looking at him. He's so far behind him. That is the second elbow to the face. That has been a real wipeout elbow. and I don't think either of them have been at all deliberate, nothing in it at all. De Vries is in that position there where there's no way Giroud can see him. We can see not a bad player in the stands on our monitors just now.
Just had a glimpse of Andrea Pirlo as Dumfries is back on his feet, shaken off that glancing blow to the chin. Milan have had to deal with more than a couple of blows after the 2 goals for Inter here this evening in this first leg of the Champions League semi-final, and they bounce back off the canvas and reduce the arrears to give themselves something to cling to when they meet next Tuesday. The game will be live here in Milan on BBC Radio 5 Live as Messias comes in off the right touchline. DiMarco runs into trouble, falls to Brahim Diaz. There's a little slip there by Acerbi. Brahim Diaz with a curling effort, hit it low. Onana is at full stretch away towards his right-hand side. It dropped just wide of the left-hand post. Still 2-0 Inter.
I do think he feels so much more comfortable when he's central. He is a natural number 10. You know, he's got it on his back, but he's also a player who likes to play in the middle, so he can go left, he can go right. To be fair, when they played that there, I didn't think there was enough pace in it. He's tried to curl it, but to beat goalkeepers of that standard, you need to curl it, but you need to curl it with real pace. Not enough pace on it.
DiMarco clears. He only made 15 appearances and a couple of goals in his 3 seasons at Manchester City, and they plucked him from the academy at Malaga. He wanted to leave for more opportunities. He went to Real Madrid. Only 21 appearances at the Bernabeu and a goal, and then a 3rd season on loan away from the Bernabeu here in Milan. So should Milan turn it around, he will be playing against one of his former sides, but in saying that, they've got a lot of work to do in the remainder of this second half, and then the 90 in the second leg to overhaul this 2-goal deficit.
One thing I would say about him, he plays, he's slightly different from a lot of other classic number 10s. He looks right, he's got the skills, you know, he's almost a classic South American number 10, but he stands a lot of time in the 10 area. The best players in that position arrive there when the ball does.
Tonali, piercing forward ball, finds Messias! Couldn't get the curl. Inside right channel of the area, went to hit it left-footed, and it just went straight. There was no bend. Goal kick.
Actually, his first shoot touch was awful. Ball's played through to him. Put it ahead of yourself. He takes it inside. He wants to get it onto his left foot there. He's not confident enough. And when he plays the shot, he does not believe in it when he plays. And a lot of the Milan fans behind the goal were angry at that point in time. And I couldn't understand why there was a bit of fury. That's, for me, the best chance I've had in the game so far.
And he was unable to take it. But allied to that one 2 minutes before for Brahim Diaz, and Milan have started the second half well as they trail 2-0, and then Tonali gives the ball away cheaply. And Dumfries, as Tonali tries to win it back, but he releases the ball to Barella. The Spanish referee has played the advantage. Barella is midway through the Milan half. He looks for a diagonal ball. Lautaro Martinez challenges with Kier. Kier and Harry Kane. I mean, that was a real tussle when Tottenham played against Milan. Kier did everything to try and subdue Harry Kane. At the minute, he's struggling to keep Martinez under wraps.
Yeah, I have to say, after the first game, I was here for the initial game. Tottenham lost it 1-0, but I was not even mildly concerned about Tottenham. I thought they had so much quality, and the fact that they got past Tottenham, I think Tottenham must be still ruining that to this day.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Milan side that was beaten twice by Chelsea in the group stages. I really did expect Tottenham to beat them as well, as now all of a sudden Barella can run forward into space on the right-hand side. 2 weight in the middle, back-heeled away by Kier. Mkhitaryan, who got the second goal, heads it to Çalhanoğlu, back towards Mkhitaryan. Bastoni joins the attack, and Inter opens up for Bastoni. He's going to keep on coming. Bastoni threads it through. Here is Dzeko, and Maignan quickly off his goal line makes the smothering save. And Inter came very, very close to a third.
To be honest, I'm way behind and say that the Milan defence is merely a shambles. Just merely. It is awful there. Not going to players, not linking up, not understanding when each other are. Every time they enter-attack, they look as if they're going to score. That's A, because they're good, but that's B, because the Milan defence just now is all over the place.
If you were surprised that Milan got past Tottenham, you'd equally be bewildered that they were able to see off Napoli, who've been one of the most attractive and exciting sides in Europe this season, the Italian champions. Corner taken short, right-hand side. Theo Hernandez heads it away. DeMarco volleys it into the ground. Martinez tries to snaffle up that chance, sliding in inside the 6-yard area. Out it goes for a goal kick. And if Milan 2 or 3 minutes ago had a couple of chances to offer encouragement, then that's a couple of moments to provide concern.
And part of it is they have to be a little bit more open. They have to push on a little bit. And you've talked already about the statistics. They didn't give away many goals. And the build-up to this, so the defence is just having one of those nights. They're so easily opened up. They don't seem to be marking their men when they're running off them. But then they are playing against two very, very special strikers in Martinez and Dzeko, whose both of the movement in different ways is world class.
If Milan have been disappointing from a defensive point of view, then the atmosphere certainly has been nowhere near disappointing. It has been absolutely awesome.
Just to hear what it would feel like if Milan could only score a goal, because the reaction then, when you're talking about 70%, 80% are Milan fans in here, what it will sound like then if Milan managed to get that one more goal, which will make this game so brilliantly balanced.
The earth might move for a second time tonight. And this concrete structure that was bouncing earlier on. Inter still lead 2-0. Tonali, short of the halfway line, spreads play out to Calabria, controls it on his right-hand side. Everybody bar Martinez has dropped behind the ball for Inter, out towards Messias. Inter Milan playing from left to right. Messias goes in field. The referee almost gets in the way of Tonali, who drags his shot low, right-footed, well off target, goal kick.
The real problem with Messias is he's like one of these wingers who's only got the one move that he loves. He's left-footed, playing on the right, so you know where he's going. He's going to go inside. And if you do go inside there, you've got to be very, very special. We used to watch people like Arjen Robben do it fantastically well. But there are others where you think, well, just show him into traffic. And at the moment, that's exactly what's happened to Messias just now. It's got to show something different.
Hooked on by Dzeko. Dumfries making a bursting run in from the right-hand side. Milan clear. Two Inter players, Çalhanoğlu and Dzeko, both went for the same ball, but there was Mkhitaryan to tidy up in the midfield. Nicola Barella, part of the Italian Euro 2020 winning squad, starting to find Lindeen against England there in the midfield. But now Milan have it with Theo Hernandez. We're 11 minutes into the second half. Back they go towards Tomori. Tomori out to Calabria, controls it just over the halfway line in front of him to Messias, being tightly marked by DeMarco. Ushers him back towards Simon Kjaer, and the Dane now finds Tomori for Milan. They work it across the back and then out towards that far side, and Theo Hernandez goes infield, and Krunic, who was booked in the first half, passes the ball now to Salamakis, tightly marked by Dumfries. His forward ball cleared by Bastoni, picked up by Tonali, can't find a way through, and Milan lose it once again. And now Martinez plays it ahead of him towards Dzeko. Might go inside towards Martinez, who makes the run. And here he is, the Argentine. And he now tries to touch it past Theo Hernandez. But that covering run was from Simon Kjaer. And he had to make that run too, as he does his job effectively in defence. And Milan will try and beat the Inter press with Theo Hernandez. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lovely touch there, wasn't it? He knew the defender was coming in. Hernandez has sold himself completely. So it had to be really clever back here, and it was.
Malik Chow is going to be coming on, so he's a defender, and we're going to see Divock Origi as well.
I wonder if they will change the system and maybe match up a little bit and go to wing backs, because it hasn't been working for them so well so far.
Again, the referee with the lines that he was running almost gets in the way, but it reaches Salamakers, who delivers the cross and right down the throat of Onana. So this will be the second opportunity to make changes, so they'll only have one more and only two more substitutes for Stefano Pioli, the bald-headed coach with the white beard down below. Divock Origi has a habit of scoring goals in Champions League semi-finals, as Liverpool fans will remember, and Barcelona fans will testify. And then Malik Chow, who's a very impressive German under-21 international, actually gained his first call up to the senior squad in March. He'll be coming on too. Meanwhile, Inter are attacking on this near side as they lead by 2-0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Tomorrow night, 5 Live Sport from the London Stadium, West Ham United against AZ Alkmaar, the build-up from 7 for that Europa Conference League semi-final first leg, as the changes are made. And it's Simon Kjær who comes off, the veteran defender.
There's a fair chance that the manager agrees with me that the defence was a bit of shambles before. Taking a centre-back off is maybe a little bit of a surprise, but I fully understand why he's done it.
And then it's a Belgian for a Belgian with Divock Origi, who signed a 4-year deal when he left Liverpool on a free here to replace Salamakers. So he comes on, but he's had a really frustrating season with injury. 14 games without a goal for Divock Origi. If he can just find his magic in the Champions League to end that barren spell, as Brahim Diaz is wrestled to the floor by Çalhanoğlu, who runs away, and the referee from Spain decides what action to take. It's a still lead 2-0 an hour played.
He went to go for his card, and then when Çalhanoğlu ran away, he didn't bother. And I feel a wee bit sorry, because a number of players, particularly Diaz, he has been fouled cleverly time and time again when he's tried to get going, and it's really tough. You feel as if a yellow card against a player, then you will get a chance to run at him without getting dragged back.
Oh my word, there are 4 flares that have been let off in amongst the Curva Sud away towards our right-hand side.
I think there's going to be a lot more, Ian.
And there is one chap who's actually stood on the metal railings. He's got one leg over it, the other leg just keeping his balance as his arms are open wide. You can just see the silhouette as that end is they're glowing with 4, 5, 6, 7 flares that have all been let off now amongst that middle tier away towards our right-hand side. I feel nervous for him.
I feel nervous.
Tomori. My word. Just jumped out of my skin.
I think that's the loudest bang I've ever heard in this.
Meanwhile, Krunic coming forward. Krunic. I nearly lost it. I nearly lost my front set of teeth off my lip line.
Oh, that's incredible, that. And then, obviously, you know, the ultras have to make some sort of effect. They've made a bigger push before the game. You didn't jump out your skin that time, did you?
I was ready for that one.
I don't think they're allowed in the stadium, but it's just alive with players there. Very dark. I mean, it's a kind of beautiful look, I have to say, but they're going to have this fog that's going to come over the stadium just now. You'd expect that to be celebratory, but it's not. I think they've been waiting a while, expecting hoping for something to celebrate. They've had nothing yet.
There's going to have to be another change here, and this time it's for Inter. So we're going to see Brozovic coming on, and the player who has gone off is Mkhitaryan.
I was slightly surprised, Ian, that Brozovic didn't start and Mkhitaryan did. But in that he scored the second goal and it was a cracker, and he's played incredibly well. I'll say well done, Simone Inzaghi. I think you got that one right.
The Milan support is absolutely outstanding. If you just walked into San Siro now, you could be forgiven for thinking that it is Milan who are 2 goals to the good and not 2-0 behind, as that change is made. Marcelo Brozovic, the Croatian, coming on to replace Henrik Mkhitaryan. The ball lifted downfield by DiMarco, and Dumfries tries to get there, but Maignan clears that ball away downfield And now it's with Divock Origi over on that left-hand side. Divock Origi for Milan. Tries to slide it in to Brahim Diaz. Cuts it back. Giroud tees up Tonali. Tonali hits the post. Struck it fiercely. Right footed, strikes the base of the left-hand post. Milan's so close to getting a goal back.
And he's claiming there was a deflection there. He thinks he should get a corner kick from there. But by a distance, the best move of the game so far for Milan. Down the left-hand side, Origi has made a difference already. He's putting a little bit of pressure on there. Dumfries is not going to come back and mark him. They're going to leave Darmian to deal with him. But he's already done Darmian once.
And still they haven't had a shot on target. Tomori's just been shown a yellow card amidst the din, the firecrackers and everything else that's being let off here. I think we're going to go to Brighton, Arsenal, Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, full-time in, Brighton 0, Arsenal 4. Arsenal with an emphatic win. All 4 goals in the first half. They move into 3rd place, and that means Champions League football next season. But don't rule them out for the title. 6 points behind the leaders, Manchester United, with a game in hand. Full-time, Brighton 0, Arsenal 4.
Just listen to the noise in San Siro. Milan supporters soaking it up despite losing.
Yeah, and it's both sides, both ends. You know, the Milan supporters below the Inter ones and the Curva Nord, they're singing all along here. As I say, the team needs them just now. They need to get behind them. They need to push them on. And that shot against the post and that very good move on the left-hand side is giving them something worthwhile to cheer about.
Those firecrackers might have woken Milan up. They still haven't had a shot on target, mind.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh, seeing as they hit the woodwork, but you're right, that's absolutely the case. A little bit of a shame for Olivier Giroud. We've hardly mentioned his name tonight because he's got such little service, and he'll be now hoping now that Origi, who's come on not as centre forward but as a left winger, will eventually get some sort of ball into him.
He's only scored 4 goals in 22 appearances since the World Cup. Giroud, as here he is on the ball over on that far side, plays it on the inside to Origi, who's done well. Origi darts forward on the left-hand side, takes it on the outside of Brozovic, tries to cut it back. There was Bastoni. Messias tries to put Bastoni under pressure, but he was unruffled as he just stepped out of defence to eventually clear.
All right, everyone's thinking the same thing now. What kept you bringing on Origi? What a difference he's made in that left-hand side. He's got the ball twice. He's absolutely destroyed Darmian. And look what's happened now. Look how far back Dumfries is now. He's immediately come all the way back, now playing as a full-back. That's the difference one player with pace and skill can make to a game. He's changed the whole configuration of the way Inter are playing.
Calabria inside to Brahim Diaz. He wins a corner. They might be 2-0 down, but there is a sense of belief inside this stadium.
They're going for it. They're going for it.
Romelu Lukaku is going to be coming on very, very soon for Inter. But the end away towards our right-hand side, they are jumping up and down, the Milan supporters. They believe. Will it transcend to the players? Tonali with the corner. Header away by Dzeko. It'll be interesting who comes off for Lukaku to come on.
You can't imagine him keeping Dzeko and Lukaku on at the same time. You know, when you need energy, you need to be able to play on the break.
Ball was aiming towards Giroud before Acerbi headed it away for Inter. Brozovic now can come forward for Inter in their blue and black striped shirts and white shorts. 66 minutes played on BBC Radio 5 Live. Çalhanoğlu inside to Brozovic. DeMarco makes the run ahead of him on the left-hand side. Looks for the return ball, cleared away. You know, as a football fan, and we were both talking about excitement in anticipation of this game, and the atmosphere has lived up to every expectation. But I now want Milan to score, not just from a neutral's point of view, but just so the atmosphere can be cranked up even more.
Yeah, and you know, if Milan score, how will Inter be able to react to that? Will they try and shut up shop? Well, it doesn't look like it. They're bringing on Romelu Lukaku, who's somebody obviously is a goal scorer for them. But you know, it just changes the whole way this game feels. And really, as I said before, have a look at it now, just in front of us. Origi no longer being marked by Darmian. He's getting marked by Dumfries, who spent the whole time as a winger and ain't doing it anymore. So tactical adaptations happening all the time at the moment, as well as the personnel changes.
That's Pat Nevin here on BBC Radio 5 Live. We're Inter lead by 2-0 with midway through the second half. And Stefan de Vrij is going to be coming on as well, the vastly experienced Dutch central defender.
Is there a temptation to break it? Maybe bring him on for Damian? Is there a temptation to do that? Because he's been beaten twice in a row with the pace of Origi and the power.
Çalhanoğlu inside. Acerbi joins the attack. He's 30 yards out from goal. Acerbi winds one up and shoots, and it was on the rise, left-footed, and it was saved by Mike Maignan around head height.
Right down his throat, though. That's the problem. You've got to get that in the corners if you're going to ask questions of good goalkeepers. Wasn't able to do that.
Ball played out to Theo Hernandez. He was getting forward a lot more on his second half on that left-hand side, but then that ball played to him, went straight through to Onana, and he plays it out to Alessandro Bastoni.
Just watching the two players, he's going to say warming up. I think that would be exaggerating it a wee bit. I don't think Romelin has done much warming up.
Chow runs forward, out to Messias, right corner of the area. Messias onto his left foot, back towards Chow, scuffed at it on the edge of the area. Didn't really have the power, easily cleared by Damian. Tonali with his dark hair in the midfield, wins it back for Milan. Urged on by the crowd here in San Siro. Milan, remember, are the designated home team, but trail by 2-0. It would be for the first time since 94-95 that Milan have suffered 3 straight defeats against Inter as the ball peters out and out for a goal kick, and now the double changes can be made. Simeone Inzaghi gives a little pat on the backside to De Vrij, and it will be Dzeko who's coming off for Lukaku. So both the goal scorers for Inter have been substituted. Romelu Lukaku on loan from Chelsea, said he doesn't wish to return to Stamford Bridge. I guess the new manager might make him think whether he could reconsider. What do you think?
I would be surprised if he's playing for Chelsea next season. Just looking at the style of players that they've got, you know, and the youth, the energy in which they want to play with, it would be a real surprise. But it's not beyond the bounds of possibility. It didn't go well for him last time. It's hard to see why it would be a huge amount better this time.
Federico Di Marco is the player who makes way for Stefan de Vrij. He was a fan when these sides met in the semi-final in the Champions League in 2003. He knows all about the hurt and the pain that a defeat at this stage of the competition against your arch rivals can feel like. But he's got a different sense tonight with his team leading by 2-0. And as De Vrij comes on for him, it means that Damian will switch out to that left wing-back role as De Vrij goes alongside Acerbi and Bastoni in the centre of that defence.
Yeah, it wasn't good having Damian over there against Origi, was it? It wasn't working. The obvious thing, you know, the simple thing would have been to take Damian off, but he knows what he's doing. He knows that Damian can defend against other players. The referee's got a little moment there. Tonali's getting very worked up at the moment. I actually think Tonali's had a really good game. I think he's been fabulous tonight. I mean, it looks like he could be in the losing side, but he's been driving that side forward a lot in the second half. And if anybody deserves to get a goal back, it's probably him from that midfield area.
He really is a fine talent for somebody who they signed for just over £6 million from Brescia in 2021, and no surprise to see him being linked with Liverpool. As you say, Italian international, 14 caps, fine player in the midfield, but they have missed Leao tonight. Whether he's able to be fit enough for the return leg next Tuesday, we'll have to wait and see as the ball is hit long by Maignan. Up towards Giroud, challenged by Acerbi. There was a slip from Dumfries. Brozovic was there to clear. Up towards Lukaku, lays it off, and then that was a foul on Çalhanoğlu by Tonali, and a free kick to Inter. 18 minutes remain.
Do you know, Tonali, I was trying to think, it was running through my brain who reminds me of a player, and it just jumped into my mind out. Antonio Conte, when he was playing, really similar type player.
Ball is played back to Onana. travelling support. I say the travelling support, the away support haven't had to travel very far, have they? The Inter supporters in that middle tier making themselves heard. Those flags have been flying all night in the Curva Nord away towards our left as Brahim Diaz toes the ball to Calabria. Out to Messias, back inside to Brahim Diaz, 30 yards out from goal. Finds Theo Hernandez. Theo Hernandez with the cross towards the far post. Messias has made the run. Ball patted down by Onana.
And the first piece of wasting time I've actually seen in this entire game so far. I mean, up until now, Inter have been trying to play in such a way that they expect to score a third goal, particularly on the break. With the changes they've made, you wonder if they're thinking, actually, 2-0 will do. That'll be enough for us. And certainly with the goalkeeper Onana going down there, must be slightly on their mind.
Looks like it's going to be the end of a 9-match unbeaten run at home for Milan since the end of January. They've only conceded 2 goals during those 9 games. Well, of course, they've doubled that as Lukaku looked like he was going to shoot from long range there as he picked the ball up, but he holds on to it, drifts out towards the left, shows his strength, out towards the corner flag, delivers the cross. Chow with a downward header. Messias actually presents it now towards Martinez, and he tees up an opportunity, and Damian gets the shot away, and then as Chow drops to one knee, good job he did, it diverted the ball behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, I mean, strange piece of play there. Again, not the best from Milan in that central defensive area. Martinez went down off the ball there. It's as if he had a bit of a calf problem. And it's one of those ones where he does not want to come off this pitch. But do you want to take a chance? Maybe injure it even more. Yeah, look at him now, he's leaning down in the middle of that area, in the 6-yard line. He's quite concerned about that.
All the noise, sheer delight from the Inter fans. They have a corner kick near side the left towards the far post, clawed away by Maignan. Retrieved on the far side. Inter, there's a player down, that is Bastoni. They're going to put this ball out of play, I think, because it now is clipped inside the centre circle for Damian, but the referee has to stop the play. He probably thinks it's a head injury to Alessandro Bastoni.
I think it's a wrist injury. That's what it looks like to me just now. He's gone down there, and it is one of those ones where, he has landed awkwardly. He's gone down. He's actually got a bit of a punch in the ribs, a little bit of a rabbit punch in the ribs there. That's what he's complaining about. I don't think it's as bad as he's suggesting it is just now, but I think he wants the referee and the VAR to have a look at it, and they are having no interest whatsoever at all in looking at that. And actually, I don't blame them, because he has made far more out of it than actually was the case.
You're right, though. He's just holding his rib cage as he makes his way back into his defensive line. The left of the 3, Bastoni alongside Acerbi, and now De Vrij.
My sympathy faded away quite quickly when he rolled around the second time. I had a wee look up to see what the referee was. But yeah, you're not that badly injured, mate.
There is further activity on the Inter bench down below. Gagliardini is going to be coming on. The ball is hit high up towards Lukaku. Inter still lead by 2-0. Those 2 goals in 3 minutes in that first half. Back towards Çalhanoğlu. Hits it first time. Might fall to Martinez. 4 in his last 4 appearances against Milan. Unable to get that shot on target. Brozovic tidies up. Downward header back in the centre circle. All the way towards Onana.
Without being absolutely brilliant, you'd say Milan have been far, far better in this second half. Adapted. They've got the same system in the 4-2-3-1. Personnel's changed a little bit. They've got hold of the ball much, much more. So they've played better. But have they been good enough to really deserve a goal? I wouldn't argue that. I'd say Inter have certainly had enough to look as if they're the most dangerous, but particularly on the break.
Yeah, still yet to have a shot on target. Joaquin Correa is going to be coming on as well. Now, he missed the World Cup with a knee injury, did the Argentine international. So he's going to be coming on. Gagliardini is a midfielder, Italian international. So Çalhanoğlu turns to acknowledge the away support, and he gets whistled and booed and jeered at by the club he used to play for 4 years here. He gets a pat on both cheeks by his manager Inzaghi. So Çalhanoğlu comes off, and then I think the other change is going to be Martinez, is it?
Yeah, it'll be Martinez and Correa comes on for him. I mean, he went down a couple of minutes ago there. Looked to me as if he had a little bit of a problem. And they do like that change, don't they? I mean, they've not made them together, but Martinez and Dzeko work well together. But Correa and Lukaku work good together. So it's like not exactly the B team, but then the other two are the A team.
So Correa comes on for Martinez. There was just on the giant screen there, whilst those substitutions were taking place, there was a potential VAR check for a penalty.
For that rabbit punch we're talking about. And, you know, yeah, look at it. Definitely look at it. There was contact, but whether you can actually say clearly that it was completely and utterly deliberate, I think the referee he'd have looked at that, and I think it was another one he wouldn't have given it.
Ball back by Acerbi to Onana. Diagonal ball to Darmian, heads it forward. Correa takes it off the chest, plays the ball back. In unison, large group in that middle tier are now bare-chested in the Curva Sud, where the Milan Ultras are housed. Their support has been unwavering, but their side is still yet to have a shot on target. Pobega is going to be coming on. It's going to be their final change for Milan. Thomas Pobega as Tonali just looking to try and reduce the arrears, to give them something to go at for the return leg next Tuesday. Messias comes on the inside of Darmian, can't squeeze it through, and Inter have dealt with that effectively. And now Correa will pass the ball out towards Barella, who hits it early, stabbed away by Chao. Milan have it back once again, and in fact Kalula's going to be coming on as well, so they're going to utilise all 5 substitutes. But Pierre Kalula's a defender, French under-21 international. Pobega's a midfielder, as Stefano Pioli gives his final instructions to Pobega. Here is Brahim Diaz collecting the ball 30 yards out from goal. No foul. Referee says Brozovic got the ball. Barella now can come forward over the halfway line. Brozovic is ahead of him. It's 4 against 4 at the moment. Now out towards Correa on the near side, the left for Inter, who lead 2-0. Correa enters the penalty area, waits, looks to shoot, shifts it out onto his left foot, crosses, blocked. Brozovic picks up that loose ball for Inter. They will, of course, have the majority of San Siro for the return leg for the home game next Tuesday night, and they'll be protecting a 2-goal lead.
Of course, what they can say, you know, if Inter could start quickly and get 2 goals up early in this game, there's no reason why Milan can't do the same in the second game. You know, go and attack it very, very early on, try and catch the opposition slightly cold. It can be done.
Milan's first semi-final in 16 years since they beat Manchester United in 2007. Tonali out to Messias. Messias right corner, onto his left foot. Messias looking for the shooting opportunity, took a deflection, took a lot of the pace off the ball, and a comfortable save by Onana.
Yeah, again,
down as a first shot target.
Yeah, deflection, you know, the keeper didn't do anything at all. But Messias again, exactly, he's hit the ball 5 times. He's did exactly the same thing 5 times. Now, if he puts one in the top corner, then it's been worth it. But it is quite infuriating that, you know, there's no difference to the play. It's always the same thing. And good defenders should be able to cope with that.
There is a pocket of flesh in amongst the ultras who are all decked out in their black t-shirts in that middle tier. Must be about 50, 60 of them with their hands above their heads, as Brahim Diaz is the player who comes off for Pobega. Straight away he runs over to Teo Hernandez on that far side, and then the other change is Calabria, who comes off, and Kalou comes on to replace the right back David Calabria. He has played 13 games as a right back this season. Predominantly he is the centre back, Pierre Kalulu, but he does offer that versatility. So the final changes have been made by Stefano Pioli as his side still trail 2-0 with 8 minutes remaining here on BBC Radio 5 Live. West Ham Alkmaar tomorrow on BBC Radio 5 Live. at Old Trafford on Saturday. The Manchester 3, Everton Manchester City at 2, and Arsenal against Brighton at 4:30 are our games at the weekend on BBC Radio 5 Live. Here is Lukaku in the centre circle, forward ball, Barella takes it in his stride, runs forward, he's got a runner off the ball as well here. This is an opportunity for Inter, but Gagliardini just couldn't steady himself just when it opened up for him.
You know, very, very similar to the second goal, wasn't it?
It was.
Very similar. You know, in that time they had the pure class of Mkhitaryan who knew what to do. Gagliardini, he did not know what to do when he got into that chance there. That's another big chance. Just a little technical thing. I expected Milan to change it, to give a little bit more chance for Theo Hernandez to play further up on the left-hand side and go to a back three. They've done it now, but there's only 5 minutes or so to go, about 7 minutes to go, plus injury time as well. It's taken them a long time to make a change that I thought they should have made a long time ago.
It was Chow who curved the run of Gagliardini, and then at the other end, Gagliardini has given away a free kick to Milan, who still trail 2-0. 6 minutes of normal time remaining. They're attacking the Curva Sud, where the ultras are housed, away towards our right-hand side. It's a central position. It'll be a direct free kick. So it's not quite 30 yards out from goal.
Is that Giroud that's fancying it there?
Yeah.
Looks like he fancied it. It's probably, I would say, 2 yards out, further out than perfect. You know, just a little bit more than absolutely perfect. So, you know, he can have a go for that. You would expect someone to have a hit from that sort of position. Theo Hernandez is looking interested as well.
The other player in that trio is Tonali. Inter have got everybody back on the edge of the area.
Well, this is clearly worked on, because they've got a wall in front of the wall. So they're trying to make it difficult for the goalkeeper to see.
So there are 3 Milan players standing in front of a 5-man Inter wall. About 28 yards out from goal, central position. Giroud's walked away. It's left to Tonali or Theo Hernandez. It's Theo Hernandez with a dipping left-footed effort that lacks the accuracy. Out it goes for a goal kick. Inter still lead 2-0. Pat Nevin.
I have to say, I never believed in it there. When they lined up, you know, it didn't look as if the wall was 10 yards. And if you are going to score from those sort of positions to get it up and down quick enough, you need to hope that the referee's pushed it far enough back. I don't think it had been. So it would have had to be something extra special, and that definitely wasn't.
When we've travelled in the taxis, the taxi drivers who haven't been Juventus supporters in this football-mad city, the one that brought us back when we tested our lines here yesterday, he was a big Milan fan, and he said, "I'm fearful." He really wasn't looking forward to the game. He said he hoped that they would play Real Madrid rather than Inter. And those fears have been realised tonight for him, and so thousands of others.
I mean, I do. Everyone I've talked to, certainly in the city, felt the same way, that Inter was favourites, and I felt that was the case. But I haven't watched the game tonight. It's not a foregone conclusion. If it finishes 2-0, if it finishes 2-1, then it's absolutely back in the melting pot.
Ball hit early by Messias, Pobega. He might have just caught Bastoni there. Continued the run through, and he ran into Bastoni, who's gone down holding and clutching his left knee.
I think he was stood on, yeah. There's just a little nick of the knee as he stood. We've got a great angle on it there, and yes, his knee catches his back left hand stud right on his left knee. Those are the ones that look like nothing. Those are very painful. Bastoni's legs are going to be the same colour as his shirt at the end of this.
I said that the Milan supporters might be fearful. They're certainly not optimistic. A lot of them now are heading for the exits in that two-tiered stand that is opposite here inside San Siro, as Messias to Origi. He made an impact when he came on, but he's faded a little bit since, as Divock Origi.
Yeah, well, faded. He's not getting enough of the ball, and of course, what's happened is Dumfries has gone back to mark him. Dumfries has done nothing since he's come on, has he? He's not touched the ball in the opposition half. Before that, Dumfries was a winger, so it's pushed, you know, the opposition back a little bit.
Barella making the run through from midfield for Inter. We've got 3 minutes remaining. They now look for Gagliardini through the middle, but that will run all the way through to Mike Maignan. They had a motto, did Milan, They talked about a light that never fades. Well, San Siro that was lit up all in red ahead of this game. Warning signs now for them are clear to see as they trail by 2-0. Giroud though on the edge of the area. Origi tries to, succeeds in winning that loose ball, takes it away from Dumfries on that far side. Divock Origi waits, back it goes to Theo Hernandez. Now with Origi, looks to go on the outside of Dumfries, who falls forward and gets a free kick for Inter. Still they lead 2-0.
Just shows you how good a change that was. You know, Origi comes in, makes a big difference. You're talking good coaches here. All right, there's a danger. I'll put a man over there. I'll change their system around a little bit. Get Darmian out of the way and make sure Origi is up against Dumfries. The one thing about Dumfries, there's plenty of wide attacking wing backs who are brilliant going forward, and no Pactro, but are not great defenders. He's both. He is absolutely both.
Long clearance, flicked on by the head of Lukaku. Correa out towards the right-hand side, plays it forward to Gagliardini, keeps the ball in play, has his heels caught. That'll be a free kick to Inter, and we have 90 seconds remaining. Well, it could have been so much worse for Milan, especially when inside 11 minutes they were 2-0 down. There have been no further goals since. However, if Inter were to get one now in the dying embers of this game, then it might just be too much for Milan to recover from.
And you know Lukaku scored a lot of late goals, hasn't he, for Inter?
Free kick is taken short. Barella plays it back out towards that far side, the right. Cross comes in now, Lukaku waits, Maignan claims in his luminous orange. 60 seconds remain of normal time. Milan 0, Inter 2. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Messias on this near side, the right, up against Bastoni. He's away from Bastoni. He was... Oh, the referee says no foul. Pioli is livid with the Spanish referee. And now is to Barella, who backheels the ball now to Bastoni, who's continued his run. And the tall defender then loses it on the corner of the penalty area.
They're all over the place now. This game's completely lost its shape, but in a good way. It's like a cup tie right at the end. Give them a due. Inter keep on trying to attack. The referee's letting everything go.
Dumfries runs forward on that right-hand side. Lukaku with his back to goal. Passes the ball in field. Brozovic, excellent challenge coming in from Tomori. We're into 4 minutes of added on time inside San Siro. Milan 0, Inter 2 remains the scoreline.
Just for a moment there, Origi went down there. It doesn't matter unless you're really badly hurt. You don't stay down. There are only moments left. Your team needs something out of this game. And it's given Inter the chance to kick the ball out. They'll get the ball back. They'll waste about a minute of that. And that was for Origi going down, staying down when he didn't need to.
This is going to be a 15th clean sheet in 29 games in 2023 for Inter, and it will be a 5th successive away clean sheet. And certainly their defence has been the bedrock. A 7th clean sheet in 11 in this Champions League campaign, something that they've never ever managed before in Europe's elite competition. The 3 times winners, the only Italian side to ever win the treble. They lead by 2-0. As now Chow forward in stoppage time here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Kalulu, back it goes to Chow, just inside the Inter half. Messias, midway through the Inter half. Held up well by Darmian. His black hair slicked back. Out then to Tomori. Tomori hits it forward. Divock Origi, Tonali hits it then for the first effort to come onto that for a first-time effort by Pobega. And whilst he hit it left-footed, it was straight at the keeper.
Bit of a shame that, you know, he has hit it well. It's 20 yards out. He's kept it on target. He's had to take some of the power out of it to make sure it's on target. And if you take the power out of it and it's at the keeper, he ain't going to score a goal. And he did have options around him there. There's other players. Had that ball fallen to Diaz, had he been on, I think he would have been able to see a better pass.
Haven't offered enough threat though for Milan. Didn't have a shot on target in the first half. They had a couple of efforts just after the restart, Brahim Diaz and Messias, that both went wide. Tonali's best effort was when they hit the post just past the hour, but boy have they missed Leao, and they will hope that he will be back. They've got to gamble on his fitness surely for next week's return leg. Correa gives the ball away cheaply. Gagliardini has gone down holding his head, so the referee is quite right, they've got to stop play. He's pointing to his head, he's left with no option, much to the frustration of the Milan support.
Yeah, you know, it hasn't been a big problem this game. You know, there are times when, you know, and it's not just in Italy or Spain, it happens in England a lot as well, it happens in the UK, that, you know, players know how to A, kill time, but B, kill momentum as much as anything else. And to be fair, there is nothing wrong with them. There is absolutely nothing wrong with them there. But the referee will put that extra time on, hopefully.
Theo Hernandez launches the ball in. Pobega leaps in the air. Darmian made enough of a challenge to put Pobega off. Out it goes out towards the far side of the field for a Inter throw by their own corner flag.
You know, we talked about it right starting before the game, about why we both felt Inter were the stronger team. And it was about attackers, it was about people that can create and people that can score, and that's Milan's problem. They don't look as if they've got enough people that when the ball falls to them with that half a chance are going to take it.
So by my watch we're almost up of the minimum of 4 minutes of added on time. Acerbi has sliced his attempted clearance on the edge of the area. It'll go out towards this near side, and Milan get a throw level with the penalty area. It's got to go long for Milan. And so Messias right up against the advertising hoardings away towards our right, 10 yards up from the corner flag. In it goes now, it's a looping throw. Chow's up there from the back, edge of the area, and a free kick to Inter. And it's the Inter supporters in that middle tier who will be celebrating long into the night, because there indeed is the final whistle, and Milan, for the first time since 1979-1980, have failed to score in 3 successive games against Inter, and they have it all to do, as Inter have a firm grip on this Champions League tie. It's finished Milan 0, Inter 2, goals in the first half from Dzeko after 8 minutes and Mkhitaryan 3 minutes later. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, it was an incredible start to the game where it hadn't even settled down. It was 2-0 up for Inter. When it came down, Milan played some nice, neat passing moves, but never looked particularly dangerous. In the second half, it became incredibly technical with all the changes, and the managers making tactical changes and positional changes every 2 or 3 minutes, but none could make a change that was good enough to make any more goals. And the game, had it been 2-1, would have been in the balance. At the moment, yes, to some degree, it's in the balance, but what an advantage Inter have got just now. One more goal in this tie, and it's almost certainly theirs.
And Steve, the Inter players are moving away down the pitch towards our left-hand side. They are going to celebrate in front of the Curva Nord, where the away supporters are housed. They're celebrating. Final score, Milan 0, Inter 2.
Pat, the bad news for Milan is they've got a 2-0 deficit to overcome. The good news is that it's only 2-0, because by the time they turned up in this game, could have been 3, could even have been 4, they are still in the tie.
Yeah, they are still in the tie, so there is still some interest there. They have to do something incredibly different. You know, 2-0 down, there was the brilliant hit against the post. There was a penalty given and then taken away from them, but it was also the brilliant positions that Inter got themselves into time and time again. So yeah, 2-0, very, very fortunate. And it's not as if, you know, Milan then turned it round and created lots of chances themselves. They didn't. They had one very good chance at the post and one really decent move, and Origi seemed to make a difference. But when you look at the two teams standing back, this is now the 14th time that I've seen Milan in the flesh this season. I still don't think they're that good. I know it sounds harsh. I still don't think they're that good a football team. Inter Milan are a decent football team, and a team that probably deserve to be and are still very likely to be in this final.